Good morning, everyone. Sorry to interrupt on you guys' conversations, but we would like to begin today's service with the Honpa Hongwanji Choir. They will be singing the Prelude, Hearing the Name, the English rendition of Shinnan Shonin's Jodowa-san number 30. The choir will be accompanied by Mr. Francis Okano and under the direction of Mrs. Mari Murakami. And now, the Honpa Hongwanji Choir. Thank you, Honpa Hongwanji Choir, for sharing your beautiful prelude. you are able to, please rise for the entry of the ministers. Good morning again, everybody. I am Reverend Blaine Nakasone Sakata, Associate Minister of the Honpa Hongwanji Hawaii Betsuin, and I will be your MC for today's service. I would like to welcome all of you to this Maui Wildfires Memorial Service. We are pleased to see all of you here in support of our Maui Ohana. And now, I would like to call up Reverend Tomo Hojo, President of the Honpa Hongwanji Ministers Association, to give today's welcoming address.
I would like to welcome you on behalf of the State Ministers Association and the Maui Ministers Association as we gather here today for the Maui Wildfires Memorial Service. First of all, I would like to express my deepest condolences to those who passed away, lost their lives from the disaster, and my heartfelt sympathy to those who have lost their homes and belongings. We would like to be with our Lahaina Ohana, so we scheduled this memorial service at the time of the 49th day. This is a Buddhist tradition, and it is an important opportunity to listen to Dharma and support each other. Today, we have two memorial messages. Let's sincerely listen to Amida Buddha's great compassion and let the Dharma guide us. Again, thank you for joining today's service.
Thank you, Reverend Hojo. We would like to open today's service with the chant Sanbujo, led by Reverend Jeffrey Soga and Reverend Eric Matsumoto. Afterwards, Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani will give the words of aspiration for today's service.
I humbly declare to Amida Tathagata, the Master in the West, who established the vow, to Shakyamuni Buddha, the Master of this world, and to all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future in the 10 directions. Here today, with reverence, we have humbly adorned the altar and conducting the Maui Wildfires Memorial Service for those who lost their lives, livelihood, and property by the fire that broke out on August 8, 2023. It is the truth of life that all beings and all things, having been born, will inevitably pass from this world. This is the truth of impermanence. However, there is no greater sadness than parting from those we cherish. As such, the vow of great compassion was established for our sake, so that in encountering the working of this great vow, the living this life would not be in vain. Thus, as we reflect on the tremendous destruction caused by the wildfires on Maui, we are once again reminded of the power of the boundless wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha that promised to embrace and never abandon all beings. Our wish is that the families and friends gathered here today will come to realize the impermanence of all things in this world and deeply entrust themselves to the great vow of Amida, and together walk the path of the Nembutsu. Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. With reverence, I humbly declare. Namando, 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 Namando. No.
And now, Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani will lead us in today's Sutra chanting of Juseige. Juseige tells the story of how Bodhisattva Dhammakara set forth the 48 vows to save all sentient beings. For the lonely and lost, Amida Buddha provides his blessings. He sends his name resounding throughout the universe, so all may hear and receive his great compassion. Please join us in the chanting of Juseige. The words can be found in your red service book on page 55. And for Zoom people, I hope the words come up on your screen. I would like to call representatives of Hongwanji organizations to offer incense. Reverend Tomo Hojo, President of the Hawaii Honpa Hongwanji Ministers Association.
Namon no butsu, namon no butsu, namon no butsu, namon no butsu. Namon no butsu, namon no butsu, namon no butsu, namon no butsu. Namon no butsu.
Reverend I. Hironaka, Resident Minister of Lahaina Hongwanji Mission.
Namanda, 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 namanda.
Dr. Warren Tamamoto, President of the Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii, Kyodan. And now, I would like to call up Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani and Reverend I. Hironaka to give their messages for today.
Snammanats. Please place your hands together in Gassho. Seeing the sentient beings of the Nembutsu throughout the world, countless as particles in the 10 quarters, the Buddha grasps and never abandons them, and therefore is named Amida. Namo Amida, Snamanda, 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 Snamanda. First and foremost, on behalf of the Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii, I'd like to express my sincere condolences to the families and friends of those who passed away, and also express my sympathy and concerns to those whose lives are deeply impacted by the Maui wildfires. This is a moment of profound sadness and loss, and it is a time where we come together as a community to find strength in each other and offer our love and support to those on Maui. The fire that broke out on August 8, 2023, devastated the town of Lahaina. The beach town of Lahaina in western Maui was once the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom. With its blend of cultural heritage and natural beauty, this historic town attracted many kama'ainas and tourists. It was a town where many churches and temples of different religious traditions coexisted in mutual respect and harmony. The town was always filled with laughter, music from stores and restaurants, birds chirping, and families and friends spending their peaceful time together. Such a beautiful town of Lahaina has been destroyed, nothing left but ashes. 97 people were confirmed to have passed, and more than 2,000 buildings and houses have been damaged or destroyed. Many people lost their loved ones, their homes, and their belongings. Lahaina Hongwanji Mission, located in the center of the town, was not spared the destruction by the fire. The history of Lahaina Hongwanji Mission began in 1904. Since then, the light of the Nembutsu teaching has been successfully passed down through the dedication, sacrifices, and contributions of the successive resident ministers, their families, temple members, and many people in the community. Lahaina Hongwanji Mission, along with other churches and temples, was the place of refuge for the people living in the area. The temple welcomed all people equally and was filled with the sound of the Nembutsu reverberating in the Hondo on Sundays. I can only imagine the depth of regret and sadness of those who have protected the temple. 2 weeks after the disaster, I visited Maui. A friend of mine drove me to Lahaina. From a hill overlooking the town, we both looked down on the town of Lahaina. I couldn't help but be stunned by the desolate scenery, which was completely different from before. No words came out. I thought of those who lost their lives, their homes, and what they cherished, and those who desperately escaped the fire. The two of us put our hands together in gassho in the direction of the Lahaina Hongwanji mission and recited Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. What we lost is too great. In every corner of the devastated area, there were people's lives, belongings, and memories. They will never come back. People wanted to protect them, but there was nothing they could do. They had no choice but to run away. When I looked next to me, I saw my friend crying silently. He put his hands on the fence, squeezed his hands tightly, and shed tears as he looked down. I couldn't do anything for my friend, but to put my hand on his shoulder. Since then, I've been thinking of the meaning of his tears. It must have been tears of sorrow at the loss of everything he cherished. It must have been tears of regret for not being able to protect the temple. Those would be tears that I would never be able to comprehend. However, one thing I can clearly say is that the voice of the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, that spilled out of his mouth was the compassionate voice of Amida Buddha that enveloped all of his suffering, sorrow, powerlessness, frustration, and anger, and yet keeps calling him. It must be painful, it must be sad, but I will never abandon you. I will never let you go. Shinran Shonin wrote, and I quote, "Seeing the sentient beings of the Nembutsu throughout the worlds, countless as particles in the 10 quarters, the Buddha grasps and never abandons them, and therefore is named Amida." Amida Buddha is the Buddha of wisdom and compassion that grasps and never abandons the sentient beings who say the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu is Amida's declaration and commitment that he will illuminate and embrace us all without fail. We encounter pains and sorrows throughout our lives. We must face the challenges, whether good or bad, favorable or unfavorable. No matter how challenging my life may be, nobody can take my place for me. Even when our family is struggling, we cannot take their places. Each of us has to carry a heavy load on our shoulders. Amida Buddha recognizes our karmic limitations and keeps calling us. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Such a compassionate heart of Amida Buddha is condensed in our own voice of Namo Amida Butsu. It penetrates our hearts, minds, and bodies. It gives us the consolation in our difficult daily lives and the courage to move forward. Our life is a journey with Amida Buddha. We are never alone. I saw a ray of hope in the Nembutsu that my friend recited. Losing the Lahaina Hongwanji Mission's buildings is a sad reality for the members and friends of the Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii. But even though the temple may have been destroyed, and even though the statue of Amida Buddha may have been destroyed, the essence of Amida Buddha, the compassionate calling voice, is always with us. This is not the end of the Lahaina Hongwanji mission. Wherever we recite the Nembutsu is Lahaina Hongwanji mission. Wherever we recite the Nembutsu is our home, where our dear parent, Amida Buddha, welcomes us with open arms. Lahaina Hongwanji mission has not yet disappeared. It is still standing in our hearts as Namo Amida Butsu. Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii is more determined to dedicate ourselves to establishing a society where the sound of the Nembutsu prevails. During this challenging time, we extend our gratitude to the first responders, volunteers, and all those who have tirelessly worked to provide aid, comfort, and support. I also like to express my appreciation to the many individuals, including the ministers and members of our temples and organizations, for their outpouring support in the wake of deadly wildfires. To the people of Maui, we are with you as you grieve, recover, and rebuild, as long as it takes. We are here. We stand together as one community, one ohana, and one sangha. Recently, there was news that the Lahaina's banyan trees' greenery blooms in a sea of dead leaves. After just over a month since the blazing fires, new clusters of green leaves have begun sprouting on its massive branches. It once again reminds us of the teaching of impermanence. The beautiful and thriving community of Lahaina has turned into ashes. Lives lost, properties lost, and many cherished materials, memories have been lost. They will never come back. But life goes on. Though the light of the sun is veiled by clouds and mists, beneath the clouds and mists, there is brightness, not dark. The power of life is so strong that despite the unimaginable tragedy, we will stand strong. We stand in solidarity with those experiencing suffering and sorrow, and together we will move forward in rebuilding our community. A new life, a new community will sprout and thrive once again. Please join me in Gassho. Namandavts, 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 namandavts. Namandavts, namandavts. At this time, please allow me to introduce my friend, my Dharma friend from Lahaina, Maui, Reverend I. Hironaka.
In the gentle embrace of Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani, the State Ministers Association, and the Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii, and on behalf of Lahaina Hongwanji Mission, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for all of your unwavering support, not only Lahaina Hongwanji, but also my family and whole entire Lahaina community. It has been over a month and a half since August 8th. People often ask kindly, "Are you better now?" I wish I could say better, but what defines better? Physically and mentally, I was better a week after the fire compared to now. Perhaps there was still gathering in the tank, the energy to keep going. After running out of gas, it feels like I am pushing the car by hand. People have not yet emerged from the depth of sorrow. Tears well up unexpectedly in everyday life. What do these tears hold within? Watching the news, I'm reminded of the fear that engulfed us on that day. The flames driven by strong winds spread from house to house, igniting like a matches, sounding like a burner. Lahaina Hongwanji Mission also had missed individual Matsuyuki Osato-san. We call Mats-san. I used to visit him at least once a month to get tea leaves for my daughter's hula. And sometimes he brought vegetables and mangoes grown in his garden to the temple. Last night, the family just shared with us. He identified. So this is my deepest condolences to the family of Matsuo Sato-san. I heard from his neighbor who living in the same shelter now. After the fire, that the mango trees and, Matsusan's mango tree fell down and was blocked, the street for people evacuate. Anyway, Please accept my deepest condolences to the Osato family. Wish. On the first day of practice for Lahaina Luna High School's football team was in the gym, Wailuku. Many players didn't have shoes. How can I just see them without tears? After the fire, my daughter temporarily transferred to another school. She was bullied. Some students called her homeless and pushed her shoulder. How sad it was. Waiting in lines at the bank, post office, Red Cross, FEMA, insurance, exhaustion from queuing. When I visit other people's home, I see beautiful family photos, baby pictures, wedding photos, family portrait, all shining brightly. But at the same time, it reminds me of the pictures I lost. And I don't know how to express the emptiness and sadness. However, these feelings cannot be outwardly expressed. These are very ordinary scenes, something to be celebrated, but now for us, these ordinary scenes become the source of heartache. A friend living in the same shelter told me with a sad expression, "Hey, bro, I went to Home Depot and I smelled something burning and we all panicked. But it was the smell of barbecue from the kiawe tree food truck. For us, kiawe tree barbecue used to be the delicious smell that made our mouth water. Now it's a trigger for panic. Recently, I saw a big black crowd. I found myself checking if it wasn't smoke. Maybe it's because I'm lost in thought or distracted, but I often pass through intersections I should have turned at. So my daughters are navigating me now. The disaster consumed the entire town. Moreover, in the meantime, it burned people's heart and mind. The fire has been contained, but I wonder if the fire is still engulfing within people's hearts and is not contained yet. Pretend to be fine, the stress, isolation, feeling like nobody understands. And I don't want them to understand because, for instance, I want to understand the feelings of someone who is dying in a few days due to illness, but I cannot. It's impossible. One day I took a nap in an attempt to get some sleep, even if just for a little while. I had a dream. It was a dream of fire. I lost everything, and I woke up and thought, oh, it's good, it was a dream. Relief was short-lived, or rather, no, this is reality. If this is a dream right now, please, I beg you, wake me up. There is one Buddha who challenged the impossible. After the practice of 5 kalpas, he became a Buddha of complete empathy with us. He is one who can become my tears. This is Amida Buddha. So when I make wrong turn, he doesn't scold me. He simply stays by my side as I take the long way. When I cannot pretend to be fine, he doesn't say, it's been long enough, cheer up. Instead, he stays within me and saying, it's okay. It's not easy to be cheerful now. When I panic at the smell of smoke, he doesn't tell me to calm down. He smiles and says, your reaction will someday turn into the movement to help neighbors evacuate, and many others too. I like to, together with this Buddha, to work toward rebuilding the temple with Amida Buddha. These photos here of Lahaina Hongwanji Temple on the day after the fire, these photos were taken by Maui News and quickly spread around the world. So this is Viola Church's social hall, and this side is Lahaina Hongwanji. So what this picture look like to you? To me, it looks like the temple with every last moment of strength is protecting the Buddha Dharma, Buddha statue, and desperately fighting against the attacking flames, guarding the spiritual home of everyone at Lahaina Hongwanji Mission. It also looks like my child. These photos capture the very last moment of life. It's okay now. You have done well. You don't have to stand strong anymore. Lie down. Just let go. I want to say to this building. It also looks like a father protecting his child from incoming bullets on the battlefield. He gets hurt himself, but fiercely guards our spiritual home, a noble sight. I can hear the voices saying, Reverend I, don't come here. I try my best until you are back here. It's hard. I'm sorry, Sensei. I can't stand it anymore. I feel like I am hearing the willful voice saying, please rebuild the new temple strong like me. I want to engrave these final images of the temple in my heart and just recite Nembutsu. Namamida Butsu. Lahaina Hongwanji Social Hall, you were always wonderful place for Fujinkai, New Year's party, and place of gathering. I sang karaoke at New Year's party once. It was embarrassing for me, but you didn't laugh. Just listen to my singing. I will never forget about you. Lahaina Hongwanji's business office. You protected my messy table for years. Many board meetings were held inside you. You were just like the brain of Lahaina Hongwanji. I will never forget about you. Lahaina Hongwanji school building. You were so famous in the town. You were just like a bridge between community and temple. In your long history, you were a place for Japanese school, judo class, YBA, Aikido class, preschool, and many others. I wish I could see you when you were young, full of students after Camp 3rd Elementary School. I will never forget about you for the rest of my life. Lahaina Hongwanji Minister's Residence. Thank you for your long service, for all ministers who lived there as their family home. Thank you very much for protecting our personal belongings until you die. School yearbooks, picture, my baby pictures, Father's Day cards from my children. My kids' small time, writing, pictures, painting. If you couldn't make it, that's fine with me. I and my family were so happy to be with you this past years. I wish I could say, Tadaima, one more time. I'm home. I'm back to you once more time. I will never forget about you for the rest of my life. Lahaina Hongwanji Mission Temple Building Hondo, thank you for a long service. You are the second generation since 1933. You were so beautiful, gorgeous, and the perfect figure of the blend with the old historical town of Lahaina. You didn't run away from the fire like I did. You stayed and protected until the end. Thank you very much for making me recite the Nembutsu. You were gentle, but so strong. I will never forget about you for the rest of my life. Lahaina Hongwanji's Gohonzon, the Buddha statues, Amida Buddha. I apologize for not being able to save you. It must have been hard. I am so sorry about that. I remembered we evacuated together when tsunami occurred in 2011, brush fire in maybe 2018, and we slept in the same room. I wish we run back to my family place with, I wish I could have evacuated together this time too. I tried, but you were in the smoke already. I had to run back to my family place with great remorse and disappointment. I chose my life and I regret so much, but because of that, it nurtured my religious Jodo Shinshu teaching heart. You are still guiding me to your Pure Land. From now on, I will worship to my own Nammandabu recitation of Nembutsu, which is you coming from my mouth. You looked so peaceful and made me and our Sangha recite Nembutsu. I don't know how many times. I will never forget about you. For the rest of my life. Namo Amida Butsu. We will rebuild for sure. Namo Amida Butsu. I will continue to live along with, together within the voice of Buddha. So please join me in Gasho. Let us all listen the power of embrace, which becomes 6 characters. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Thank you, Bishop Umitani, and of course to Reverend Hironaka. Now, we will sing the Gatha Ondokusan 2 and Gratefulness 2, which is located in the white Gatha book, Sing Namo Amida Butsu on page 107, which will be followed by the Nembutsu. If you're able to, please rise. Please remain standing for the singing of the Nembutsu. Please remain standing for the exit of the ministers. I have two announcements. The first is that here at the Honpa Hongwanji Mission Hawaii, we have established and are still have our Maui Wildfire Disaster Relief Fund. All donations to this fund will go to support Lahaina Hongwanji and the relief efforts on Maui, including addressing the immediate and short-term needs of temple families displaced by the fires and supporting the greater community as it rebuilds. All the donations given today will be put towards that very Maui Wildfire Disaster Relief Fund as well. And so in conclusion, I would like to just thank the Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii headquarters, as well as the Honpa Hongwanji Hawaii Betsuin and members. I would also like to thank Dr. Tamamoto, as well as the Honpa Hongwanji Choir, who was accompanied by Mr. Francis Okano, and under the direction of Mrs. Mari Murakami. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today here for this Maui Wildfires Memorial Service. We appreciate your support for the Maui Ohana. And please join us downstairs for refreshments in the social hall. And thank you again, and have a beautiful rest of your Sunday.